Welcome to the Alkalign Lifestyle School, where we empower elite minds and bodies to thrive as their true, authentic, divine self. I am your host and guide today, Fidelis Snuggle II, and I'll be talking to you guys today about how your brain, your gut brain, controls testosterone, creatine, and estrogen, and why it's so important to understand the correlation between your food and your mood. So I'm keeping this really short, very direct. Whatever you eat, it's going to affect how you feel. When you affect how you feel, there is a chakra, there is a gland called the pituitary, which is called the crown, because the crown, which controls essentially how you feel, is regulated by your enteric nervous system, which is your gut. When you eat something or drink something that don't feel good, it ain't good, it's toxic, it's chemical, it makes you feel disgusting, lethargic, drained of energy, angry when you drink alcohol, things like that. When you all of a sudden alter the way that you feel, you now alter the chemicals that are produced from the brain throughout your entire body. Now, testosterone, for one, okay, it's produced in the testes in males and the ovaries in females. So yes, men and women both have testosterone. Also the same thing in terms of estrogen. These things are affected directly by how you feel, because the signals that come from the hypothalamus, there's what's called the HPAA axis, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. Your adrenals, which are on your kidneys, are also producers of testosterone and estrogen. If you do not understand the correlation between how stress affects your entire system, you're not gonna know how to change it, how to stop thinking the way that you've been thinking. So this is the problem that I'm seeing. Because all of these things right here, from testosterone to creatine to estrogen. Creatine is produced in the liver, the kidneys, and the pancreas. They're all affected by stress because the adrenals have such an impact on these things. You have to start to understand that the two sides, okay, are dictated by your attitude. So this is how your attitude actually affects your entire body chemistry, your biochemistry, your life chemistry. You're essentially controlled by the way that you perceive the field around you. Because yes, you're in a field. So, men take testosterone supplements, which I think is ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. Why? Because you make it. Also, men and women take creatine supplements, which I think is also ridiculous. Again, because your body makes it. If you had a healthy mind and body, you would not need to create them synthetically, artificially, because you already do it naturally. So what you're missing the point of how to detox your body and detox your mind and why to do it is because you want to have control over these things. Because you are the one that controls it. It's yours. Why would you not think that by you actually going in and changing your lifestyle, seeing the way that you talk, seeing the way that you react to life, how you behave, this would not cause a distinct change, a drastic shift in what you're producing chemically as far as a response inside your own body system. So, testosterone, for one, this is what controls a man essentially being a man, okay? So you can look at it from beard growth, hair growth, just your aggressiveness in a way. All this stuff is could be controlled by testosterone. But let me tell you that there's a correlation between the gut microbiota and all three of these things. How I produce muscle mass, how I get stronger, how I just gain more size, right? In terms of creatine, because creatine does aid in these things, and also it's stored in your skeletal system, so it's stored inside your bones. These things are what make you, and shape you and keep you ageless throughout your entire years. Okay, and women, you need to have estrogen, of course. Men, you don't need to have that much estrogen, obviously, but the food that we eat, this processed food, this processed junk that we eat in this country, the United States of America, is mostly comprised of synthetic estrogen. So here, I've been plant-based for 8 years now. I look great, I feel great. Eat what you want, but you're never going to actually get into a enlightened state of your mind unless you electrify your mind and body. I'm 42 years old this year, which means 34 years I was eating eggs, dairy, processed food, and meat. And all of a sudden, I can see where I'm at. I have the awareness to know what's going on around me. I have the awareness to understand how the universe works inside of my mind, because I realize that it is my mind. People who are blocked, you're blocked by yourself. You caused this. You're causing a disconnection between yourself and the self. There's the self and there's yourself. But yourself is part of the self. So the subconscious mind that you cannot escape, it's subconscious, but it doesn't mean it's smaller. It means that it's surrounding you, meaning it's all over, everywhere. That's the subconscious mind. And if you understand that all you have to do is regulate your stress level, is regulate your emotional state, is become neutral to everything. Literally, become neutral to everything. Once you can change the systems, the ANS system, which is controlled by the enteric nervous system, which is your gut. ANS system is autonomic nervous system. That system is what controls the positives and the negative responses to how your body's working. The positive response, meaning relax, growth, and repair, releases certain chemicals. The negative response, which is fight or flight, also releases certain chemicals, namely cortisol, which people are talking about. It's like a trending buzzword, is cortisol, even though it's already been here for ages, okay? What's happening is your stress level is causing the HPAA axis, the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis, to secrete the wrong chemicals inside of your body. It's based upon your lifestyle choices. Too much alcohol affects the 12 cranial nerves in your solar plexus. Too much meat, processed food, dairy, again, affects the 12 cranial nerves inside your solar plexus. It literally is connected from here to here, the gut-brain connection. What you're putting in is affecting your behavior, it's affecting your mood, it's affecting your health in more ways than you can imagine. So your food choices are what keep people in the same patterns. The same patterns of eating will have the same patterns of thinking, and the same patterns of reacting and responding to the world around you. That's what happens to a person. So what you eat is having a direct effect not only on your mood, but what chemicals are being produced by your body. You've got to understand this. So rather than take a testosterone supplement, why don't you ask yourself why you're so stressed out? Men. Because most of you are stressed because of entanglement. Entanglement. I'm an entrepreneur too, so yeah, you have people employed by you, people you're serving, all right? You have philosophy, research, and development. You have to develop yourself. All these types of things. I get it, but ultimately, you have to let that stuff go. You have to let that stuff go and understand that you do not have control over any and everything out there. You have control over yourself, and the world will respond to you based on how you're expressing yourself. So testosterone, which again is controlling you basically being a man being a man, and also a woman being a man, which unfortunately at this time you have more women who seem to be more manly than the actual men themselves because of what you're eating. Synthetic estrogen is affecting how you show up. So now, based upon your lack of manliness, your lack of, I'm not gonna say masculine and feminine, because also men and women have masculine and feminine, all right? So it's not masculine principle, feminine principle. What I'm saying is You have a positive, you have a negative, and you have a neutral. The neutral is harmony, is homeostasis. If you could come from a neutral place, you'll come from a place of harmony. But if you can't come from a neutral place, you're gonna go too far on each side, too far on this side, too far on this side. And you have to understand how to come back to where you're at. Too many men don't speak up for themselves. Too many men don't allow what comes through them to come out, to be expressed out. Too many men are too quiet. Too many men are too not loving of themselves. They don't respect themselves enough to express themselves authentically, to be vulnerable, okay? And what's vulnerability mean? It just means being able to be hurt emotionally and physically. That's being vulnerable. If you get in a fight, you may get punched. If you get in a verbal fight, you may get verbally attacked. Okay, well, are you vulnerable enough? Then are you accountable enough for what you're putting out? Because you're only gonna get back what you put out. And then, are you transparent? Are you able to be seen through? Or are you hiding something because you're afraid? All this stuff matters. And this is all going to shift the chemicals that are getting released inside your body. See, you understand how things work. You understand the experiences in your life because the experiences are chemical. You know, you understand like things in the past that happened to you because you remember how they felt and how they feel. Feeling is an emotion. Emotion essentially makes a chemical. So these feelings make chemicals. So you understand chemically how you felt about a situation 5 years ago, or a fight with your wife or ex-wife, or a fight with your kids or something like that. You understand those things because of how you felt chemically. So you can remember these experiences based upon the chemical release inside your body, and you go back to that place whenever you call it back up into your mind. So creatine, why you should not take creatine is because your liver, your kidneys, your pancreas already produce this, and it stores it inside your skeletal system. If you start to take supplements, all of a sudden you're negating the natural process of you making it yourself. You start to take it and overtake it, and people take a lot. I go to Gold's Gym in Venice Beach, love it. It's like the original, you know. But when I see people, the powders, I can smell it from like across the table, just pouring the powders in. And I'm looking at them like, why y'all doing that? Why not just play the long game? Just come up in there, 3 or 4, 5 years, you just keep on putting the same work in, you're still gonna get strong. People want instant gratification. So let's pump my cells up and supplement with all these different things that I'm already producing it myself instead of changing my attitude towards life. Why is changing your attitude so powerful? Why is it so important? Because when you change your attitude, you all of a sudden change your perspective on the spirit. You shift your perspective on life. And by changing your perspective on life, you allow what's supposed to be done to be done. You didn't make this. There's a higher source that made this body, that made this mind. It made all these things. You don't listen to a person that says you need to remove this, cut this out, take this away. No, you don't do that. There's no point. Because the creator who made it can fix it at any moment in time, point in space. But you're the creator. So when you remove the word God, you put your name inside of it. You realize that you're actually the God. If your name is Jack, right? You say, oh, Jack. You know, you don't say, oh, God. You say, oh, Jack. Yeah, because that's what your ego is thinking. You're thinking that you're Jack. But that's not Jack. That's God. I'm Fidelis. But that's just the name that was given when I got to here. But I'm part of the source of all there is. So I'm the consciousness. When you look at me, I'm a perspective of yourself, telling you about yourself, because I'm part of the self. You're just an extension of it. You take a leaf or a blade of grass from the whole consciousness, garden. That's all of us. We take one spark from the whole light that shines. So whenever I speak, you can feel. Whenever you speak, I can feel. So what I'm saying again, creatine, it's a useless supplement in terms of people who are looking for instant gratification and trying to find some biohacking solution, which does not make any sense, because you cannot hack a system that you did not create. Does it make sense? You can think and do all the little research studies that you want with fake control groups on the same level of vibration. It ain't gonna matter until you realize that supplementing with anything that you already make is going to cause you to lose what you already make. It's gonna be a problem. Estrogen, again, ovaries in women produce this. You see that the sexual glands in men and women are what produce this testosterone and this estrogen. And we need to have it in harmony, because if we have too much, we'll start to see it. Women start to have mustaches, they start to have too much body hair. What's going on? You're too much in testosterone and then instead of estrogen. That's why. And so all of a sudden you realize what's happening is a person's mood is being affected based upon what they eat. That's changing how they feel. That's changing what's being signaled to be created. So think of this as like the actual engine. This is the engine, the plexus, the enteric nervous system, that then signals the control room. Hey, make more of this. The lights outside produce serotonin to wake me up in the morning. It's getting late. Produce melatonin. It produces it mainly in here. Then it produces. It's here first. Your gut is the main thing because you express the light from within. So that's also, there's a concept called the coregasm. The coregasm. For women, this is powerful for you to look this up. What it says is a coregasm is an orgasm that happens while you're doing a core exercise or workout. When you engage your muscles to stabilize your core, you may also end up contracting the pelvic floor muscles that can be essential to achieving orgasm. Now, this is the whole point of the Alkalign Lifestyle School. When I came up with this concept, my partner and I, what we decided was detoxify people's cells, get them to have an orgasmic experience at every moment in time, point in space, with the field of space. It doesn't mean that you have to go and you're physically having sex. It just means that you're allowing the spirit to come within you and to feel that freedom and to feel that liberty, that liberating feeling where you have no filters. So I'll get to this deeper in another video. So I'll talk about unconditional love. Both men and women can have coregasms. They're just not more common in men because we usually have, the core. We already have muscle of some kind. So it's not usually something that's drawn out, where we have a distinct, we feel it like this, we feel it like this. Women do because most women have a bad gut. Most women have a bad gut. And that's essentially why you will see many women who are not in their feminine ways. They're more in a manly perspective, a masculine principle. And most of them are in a mission principle. I look at feminine and masculine as mission and purpose. I think of it in terms of masculine was going to be the mission of why I'm, what I have to go through in terms of, So I look at feminine and masculine. You can look at purpose and you can look at the mission, but it's also going to be in positive and negative, where you say, okay, what's positive? Well, positive is going to be the purpose. I look at the purpose, like, why am I here? All these wonderful things. I'm looking at this positive way, like it's all around me. Why I'm here is being expressed outwardly. But the mission that I have to go through to achieve that purpose is hard. That's going to be the negative part. I gotta close my eyes to do it. So when you see that this creatine, this estrogen, this testosterone, and estrogen is supposed to make it, this is what makes a woman a woman. This is what makes you nurturing, or makes you caring, or makes you be able to feed your little ones. This is what makes you powerful. It ain't you going and wearing the same thing as me, talking crazy, raising your voice, putting your hands up. I'm not saying women can't fight. I'm not saying that. Like physically fight, but verbally you probably shouldn't do that. There's no point. Because then you're losing the actual power that you already have based on your tonality, based on your intention. There's a power in intention that you're gonna learn. People who have not mastered their thought process are going to lose out. But mainly estrogen, testosterone, which is basically your sexual hormones secreted by your sexual glands in men and women, and creatine, which is also secreted by the liver, the pancreas, and the kidneys. This is responsible for your muscle growth and basically aging backwards. When you can understand the correlation between your gut brain and your stress level, and you can decrease the stress level, relax yourself just a little bit. Just relax. Take some time. Here's how you fix this. Here's how you fix this. Don't go run to get any supplement of any kind. Don't get a testosterone supplement. Don't get a creatine supplement. Don't get an estrogen supplement. You don't need any of that. You need to first cleanse your cells. Cleansing your cells, detoxifying your cells. A cellular detox is essential. You need to clear out the toxicity in the cells. What happens when you do a cellular detox? Everything that you thought, that you felt, comes back into your bloodstream. Now it becomes like a movie that's playing backwards. You now have these thoughts that come back from when I was 7 or 12 or 15, or I got hurt when I was 18, or my boyfriend or something, or my girlfriend left me when I was 16, or my first partner cheated on me when I was 21. Whatever, they start coming back. And it gives you an opportunity to change your perspective on them, because you've been carrying them this entire time with you. So a cellular detox is allowing you to change your perspectives on everything inside of your life that happened to you. And you get that energy back to you in the present. You need that energy back to you in the present. The energy that you have back to you in the present now allows you to heal yourself. So not only does it clear out the toxicity that you had inside of you from years of bad diet, drinking, all these things that you had that were so counterproductive to your growth, it also allows you the time to restore and to reprogram the DNA. Because you have to reprogram the DNA. You have to get back into your actual body, and you have to understand that you're the software, and the software changes the hardware. So we may be iPhone 11s, right? Same little camera structure, same little phone structure, everything's the same. Until we realize, yeah, we need to upgrade the system. Things are happening around us. We have to match out with the world. If you don't actually catch on to that, you stay stuck in your old ways of being. So that's the next thing, to meditate, to become familiar with yourself, the old self to the new self. And detoxification in your cells allows you the time to reprogram that old self to go to the new self. Once you do that, you realize that now you're changing your actual chemical structure. And when you can change your chemical structure, you can achieve the orgasmic potency I spoke about in prior videos. Orgasmic potency is your ability to surrender to the climax, of intimacy, essentially sex. Changing energy with everything around you. That's sex. Look at sex differently. Don't look at it as a physical, clothes off. Yes, that's part of it, but you're having a sexual experience every time you walk around. Because the field, you have to allow the field to exchange the energy with you. A sacred energy exchange with the field coming to you at every moment in time and point in space. Where you look at these physicists and scientists like Wilhelm Reich, what Reich was talking about was orgasmic potency. He was saying people have mental health problems because they're too blocked. They're too filtered. You have too many filters. You think that this thing that you created is the only thing, and you can't let it go. Because now you can't let it go, you don't have any self-love. You're holding on to this only thing. You see people in LA, I'm in LA, all these fires that, people losing their homes and things like that. And you're like, well, what's going on? Well, it's based on frequency. I believe it's based on frequency. So the fire doesn't just go attack a whole entire community for no reason. No. Not everybody lost their house. There's some people on this side, some people on this side. Why did you lose it? Why did they not lose it? It's based on frequency. It's based on vibration. All right? Once you get to that low point in vibration, that low frequency, that low vibration, something at a low place has to happen to you in your experience to get you to now go back towards the light. So dark things have to happen in order for you to move towards the light. So that's the next thing. So when you meditate and become familiar with yourself, you start to understand how you've been responding, how you've been living, how you've been eating, how you've been drinking, what you've been doing. Okay, too much sex, too much ejaculation, men, causes you to be burnt out. You don't have any energy. So that's why pornography is like, it's a chemical response. It's not an ADHD, all that stuff is trash. Don't listen to any of that stuff. And what I'm saying is because everything is chemical, your life itself is an alchemical process. You're going like this, like a graphic equalizer the entire time. Putting this chemical up, putting this chemical down, putting this mineral up, putting this mineral down, putting this nutrient up, putting this nutrient down. That's what you're doing the entire time. From ages 0 to whenever you die, physically, from here. Because you don't die energetically. That doesn't happen. Because energy is neither created nor destroyed. So understand how this works in terms of chemically. When you change the chemical structure, you now change the way that you're thinking and change the way that you're feeling. That's why cellular detoxification is ideal. Because once you change all of that and you get back to the natural order of things in harmony, neutrality, you begin to produce creatine, you begin to produce testosterone, you begin to produce estrogen in the normal levels that you need. You do it automatically. You have a program for that. Everyone does. So, click the link in my description. I offer Awaken and Replenish, and now Transcendence. But you have to go through the first part, the first portion of awakening your cells, and awakening your gut, clearing out your bacteria. Then Replenish, which awakens everything inside your gut, but then replenishes it with mineral cell salt, 12 mineral cell salt. And then you have actually Ascension, which comes in between that, which then puts you in your subconscious, in your dream state. And then after that, you have Transcendence, which is a combination of all of them combined with colloidal metals, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, copper, and iron. And these metals attach to your DNA. When attached to your DNA, they charge you up so that you can receive the energy from the field of space. This is where you change over and you look down upon your old self as the new self. But you gotta do the inner work. The inner work is where you guide yourself towards who you really want to be. And while you're shifting spiritually, energetically, mentally, sexually, you also have to change physically. That's why it's a whole entire system that's built for your success. Don't cheat the system, or you're cheating your body, okay? So if you guys want more information on this, click my description below and to get started today. Other than that, till next time.